Get rolling here. All right, so I call this meeting to order. We have regular city council meeting for February 10th, 2026. Can I have a roll call, please?
Dodd? Here. Mallory?
Here.
Brenda?
Here.
Darling?
Here.
Bedwin?
Here.
Martin?
Here.
Ormsby?
Here. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I will open public comments for agenda items only. So if you have a comment for an agenda item, please state your name and you have 3 minutes. Okay. I will close this portion of public comments. And we have the approval of agenda, receive and file all communications.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda and receive and file all communications.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Martin, second by Councilman Bedwin to approve the agenda and receive and file all communications. Does anyone have anything to add? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We have the approval of prior meeting minutes from January 27th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes of January 27, 2026.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Okay. All right, I have a motion by Councilman Martin, second by Councilman Ormsby to approve the regular city council meeting minutes of January 27th, 2026 as presented. Does anybody want to add anything to that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We have the presentation of the annual financial report, year ended June 30th, 2025. I believe this is Mr. Andrew Wilcoxon from Gatebridge and Company on the screen here. Do I have a motion for that? Oh, that's it.
It's Ian.
Oh, this is Ian. Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name's Ian. Andrew wasn't able to be here tonight, so I'm taking over for him. I was the manager on the audit and reviewed everything and helped the team get everything done. It was a pleasure to work with Casey and Dan and the whole team throughout the whole process, and they made it very easy, and we have nothing but good things to say about them, and Raymond as well, as they helped kind of in the accounting of everything. So I'll start with that. I believe you all had a report, or do you all have a report in front of you of the audit?
Yes.
Yeah, we can reference. Okay, cool. So I'll go through the opinion and then go over some of the financial highlights and answer any questions as I'm going through it. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to interrupt me. So if you open up to page number 1, it's about 2 to 3 pages in, but the bottom says page number 1. This is the independent auditor's report. And if you look at the first 2 paragraphs on that, page, that is the wording or the verbiage for an unmodified or a clean opinion. It's the best opinion the city could receive. There's nothing better Casey, Dan, or anybody could have done to get a better opinion. So in essence, you pass the audit and the financial statements are materially correct as shown in the report. So that's the main point of the audit, and that's what you want. There was another separate audit for the federal awards. You had enough federal awards that required a federal single audit, and you received an unmodified or a clean opinion over that as well. So there are 2 separate audits. It's lumped in the year, but you received an unmodified or a clean opinion on both parts of it. So nothing better you could have done. If you go down to page number 6, this is the start of the management discussion and analysis, and I'll go through the 3 bullet points there, the 4 bullet points, the financial highlights. So as of June 30, your fiscal year end of 25, Your assets exceeded your liabilities by about 35 million. So you have more things than anything you owe of 35 million. Of that 35 million, about 32 or 33 represents an investment in capital asset. It's lumped in with capital assets. It can't be spent in that respect. You have about 3 million of that surplus is unrestricted and restricted. And then you have a deficit, unrestricted net position of about 600,000 or so, 700,000. I'll go through I'll skip the next bullet point. That one's not as necessary. The third bullet point, your governmental funds specifically, which would be basically all of your funds except your water and sewer, not all of them, but most of them except your water and sewer fund, would be considered governmental. You have fund balances of about 3.5 million. It was a decrease of about 700,000 over the previous year. And if you take your unassigned fund balance, which is your unrestricted, meaning it can be used for anything, you have about 813,000 of that. And that's all in your general fund. The difference is all your restricted funds, major local streets, things of that nature that are restricted for specific purposes. If you took your unassigned fund balance as a ratio of your annual expenditures in your general fund, it equates to approximately 20%, meaning if you receive no income after year end, you would survive about 20% of the next fiscal year. So it's a ratio to kind of tell you where you stand financially at the end of the year and how far you would go if theoretically you didn't get any income. If you go down a few more pages, page 9, this is the statement of that position. It breaks everything down by your governmental activities and your business type activities. Business type would be your water sewer fund mainly. And it compares it to the previous fiscal year. I'm going to look at them lumped together on the far right column and go over some of the changes. So your cash increased about 400K during the year. There's a plethora of different reasons for that. Your capital assets increased a fair bit. You had some pretty significant water and sewer projects going on with your CWSRF funding that came in from the federal government, that loan. So your capital assets in your sewer, your business type activities increased pretty significantly. Your debt also increased pretty significantly due to the different loans you got from those grant programs. So that's a pretty significant change there as well. There's nothing too much else I'd go over this. It kind of just shows you everything. But you can see how all this boils down into your ending net position at the bottom, how much is lumped in with capital assets, how much is restricted, and how much is unrestricted. The next page, page 11, 2 pages down, page 11. This is your statement of that, or changes in that position. It shows your revenues and your expenses for the fiscal year. And again, breaks it down all the same way and goes over the changes year over year. So your capital grants decreased a bit, about 1.4, 1.5 million, from 5 million, or 5.6 million down to 4.3 million. Pretty normal overall given the operations with the grants that you had. Obviously, grants will change your income pretty significantly year over year once you have or spend less of them. Property taxes were obviously a pretty significant source of income to you for the year, so you had about $3 million this year. And then all of your expenses get lumped into the various categories of whether it's for general government, clerk, treasurer, things of that nature, public safety, police, things like that, public works, would be for roads and all that, and you can see all the breakdown of all the various expenses for the fiscal year in that respect. So you increased your net position this year about 4 million, 3.9 million, which was a slight decrease from last year of about 5 million, but overall you're increasing your net position at least the last 2 years, meaning you have excess revenues over expenses. If you go down to the basic financial statements, which would start on page 17, page 17 and 18 is exactly what we just went over, just specifically for the 25 fiscal year. So I won't pay too much attention to that. Page 19 is going to be your governmental balance sheet, shows all of your governmental funds and where they stand from a fund balance standpoint. So page 19, you can see your general fund, major streets fund, public safety, and then all of your non-major funds. If you really wanted to look into your non-major funds, they're at the back end of the report. It breaks all of them down into the same sort of format as this. You can see where all they stand fund balance-wise. If you go down to page 21, this is your income statement for the same, breaks everything down the same way, shows your revenues and expenses in each fund and where they increase or decrease their net position or fund balance for this year. Page 23 is your balance sheet, assets, liabilities, and equity for your business type activities, water, sewer, your ice pavilion fund, and again, shows all the same stuff. Page 24 does the same for the income statement. So if you're ever wondering where your funds stand, this would be the reports you're gonna want to go look at. The rest of the report, I won't pay too close of attention to. It's all just more detailed information. The notes of the financial statements show your capital assets, how all that is broken down, specifically your cash, how that cash and investments, how that is broken down, your long-term debt, where you added and paid your debt, and pension stuff, things associated with that. If you wanted more information on that, you can look in the notes, financial statements. But unless there's a specific question, I won't pay too close of attention to it. The only last thing I would show you is your SEPA, which is your schedule of expenditures of federal awards. It shows all of your, specifically your federal awards that we audited. Page 79 would show that. You had about $6.3 million in federal awards for this year. Your major program, which is the program we did the single audit over with your COVID-19. It's not all ARPA, but it's kind of related to ARPA. It's all lumped in the same major program. That was what we did our single audit over. Again, received an unmodified opinion. But that is where you'd see all your federal awards, is page 79. And then beyond that, there's nothing too much else. I try to leave it as quick and easy as possible and answer specific questions if any of the council has anything. So, any questions?
How is the overall financial health of the city of Cheboygan?
The city of Cheboygan, you're not flush with cash, but there's no worry about you going under in the near future. As far as we can tell, you continue to add more revenues than what you spend each year. Your water and sewer funds had very significant increases in your net position for the fiscal year. So, unless there's like a specific thing you're wondering about or a specific project you want to start on, we're not worried about it at all.
Anything else?
Mayor, if nobody else has any questions, I do have a couple questions, if that's okay.
You can ask the questions.
Ian, is it best practice to utilize outside accounting firms to assist city staff with financial matters?
Yeah, we generally prefer when larger cities or people with more complex accounting use an outside firm. It's definitely helpful, and there's a lot of nuance to the accounting, and it helps make sure all the financial information is presented right to us when we audit.
We use, obviously Casey handles a lot of the stuff. We use Raymond Group and we use Cambridge Company. Can you tell us just, so there's a lot of people in the crowd you might not be able to see, can you tell us a little bit, what does Gamebridge do for the city? How is it different from accounting?
So accounting is the actual keeping of the books, the day-to-day tasks, entering the revenues, the deposits, the cash deposits that come in, property taxes, and spending of all of your monies for the various things that the city does. That's accounting, is entering it all in so that it's in a decent format and you can keep track of your financial condition as you go out throughout the year. When an auditor comes in, we cannot do that. An auditor is a separate party that comes in and provides an opinion on the financial statements that the city presents to us. We need to be independent, meaning we cannot have like a conflict of interest or we can't, like my dad can't sit on the city council because then me as a person might have a bias against the city if something was wrong, I wouldn't say it. So we need to be independent in that respect. And we provide an opinion on what you provide and say, are these financial statements presented fairly in all material respects? So the two cannot be the same person or the same firm or same person doing it.
So there's really three distinct, almost, internal operations, accounting, and auditing. So there's three separate core areas.
In some respects, yeah. A lot of the times city accounting is a very complex and nuanced profession in many respects, and when you get into complex things like pension liabilities and things like that, not everybody has the complete and the education to know everything, I suppose. So I wouldn't say there's three separate, but a lot of the times the internal inner workings of the city does need outside help to make sure they're presenting everything correctly.
I'm not done. Can you give us a brief overview on how you feel that the city's internal controls are? I believe it's in the management letter, but not everybody sitting in the audience does have the access to that letter.
Yeah, the internal controls seems fine to us. There's nothing to note. Everything seems to be operating in accordance with how the city has it set up, and the way it is set up makes sense, and there's always two people involved in the process and making sure stuff is reviewed and approved appropriately. So yeah, there's nothing wrong that we believe should be noted.
And then the last question, then I have a minor statement there, if you'll humor me, I appreciate it. You answered a question for Councilwoman Darling there. So if somebody made a statement that the council and staff are bankrupting the city, is there any factual basis to that claim?
Based on the financial statements, I don't see any reason to believe that. We as auditors we're required to look to see if there's a possibility that the city would go under in a year, and there's no reason for us to believe that's the case, and there's no reason for us to believe that's been the case in the past. So I can't say for forever, but the way it's operating currently, you've added to your net position for several years, and meaning that you continue to get income, and your water and sewer fund are operating at a surplus, which isn't very common for people that have water and sewer funds. Usually they operate at a deficit. So,
Statement. First of all, I want to thank Casey for all her hard work. She's put a lot of time in, both during the day, at night, weekends, to get us to where we are today, from where it was 3-4 years ago. So I think we all owe her a huge gratitude for everything she's done. I also want to thank Raymond Group for working with Casey, training Casey, and being there whenever Casey was ready to lose her mind, trying to figure things out. So again, thank you, council, for providing me and Casey with the Raymond Group. And then I want to thank Ian and his team for doing the audit, and once again, working with us, and they're great to have. So when their contract comes up again, I would appreciate if you help me in improving that. So I just want to make sure that Casey is thanked for all their hard work. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. Anything else I can answer for you?
At this time, I think we're all set.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you, Ann.
Can I get a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve the annual financial report for the year ended June 30th, 2025.
I will second that. Thank you. I have a motion by Councilman Martin, second by Councilman Dad, to approve the annual financial report for the year ended June 30th, 2025, as presented. Do a roll call, please.
Martin,
Yes.
Bedwin,
Yes.
Ormski,
Yes.
Darling,
Yes.
Dodd,
Yes.
Mallory,
Yes.
Randolph.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. We have 7B and C, the police and fire department January reports. Does anyone have any questions on those?
Just want to thank him for writing it every month.
Yeah. How's your first month?
Still here?
Good. Good, glad to hear it. All right, we have 8A, bills and disbursements for the month of January 2026.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills and disbursements for the month of January 2026.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilman Martin, second by Councilwoman Darling, to approve the bills and disbursements for the month of January 2026 in the amount of $885,946.92. Do I have any questions?
I do have a question, and it's just about the assessment for the Lincoln Avenue Bridge. And
Can you give us a number for that?
Yes.
That would probably be inspection. It was a $5,000 one I remember seeing on there for an engineering firm. Every year or every couple of years, we have that bridge inspected.
can you tell us what it showed?
Overall, it's in pretty good shape. There's a couple issues where we have to fill some cracks in with a certain type of compound, but other than that, it's in good shape. Needs a little paint, but that's irrelevant.
Okay. Anything else? Then roll call, please.
Dodd,
Yes.
Mallory,
Yes?
Randolph,
Yes.
Darling,
Yes.
Bedwin,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Ormski.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Dan, city manager's report.
And Casey, if I go astray on this, you can straighten me out. First of all, I want to thank Casey for all her hard work in getting the paperwork done.